Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we're going to be talking about the Wuben E7. This is the new version that Wuben have just released in 5000K. It looks pretty much the same as the 6500K version. I mean, it is the same thing, just with some changes to the LED. So Wuben have basically launched this light a few weeks ago. It's multi-purpose flashlight and it has a bunch of modular features to it. So the most obvious one is that you can use it as a headlamp. So this is the one that was included with my version. That's what it looks like with the light inside, and you can just push down, pull it out pretty easily. I'll go through that in a little bit more detail later. There's also a bunch of accessories that you can get with the E7. There's an 18650 extension tube, and you basically just screw that down on the bottom and screw the bottom back in if you want to extend that runtime. And you know, with 18650 cells, you get about 3 to 3.5 times the capacity of these 18350 cells in there. So I think that's a huge difference. This is what the extension tube looks like. Okay, pretty basic, just screws onto the bottom of the light. You've got to unscrew that first. And you also have this other optional module that you can buy, the AP40 module. Okay, and it's a gesture sensor. So essentially you plug this in to the USB-C port top of the light, and you can see it switches on, and you can put your finger over the top and actually activate that light, turn on and off. Okay, there's a whole bunch of different commands that you can provide, give it, and basically operate the light. I don't really use it myself. I prefer to press that switch on there unless I'm using it as a headlamp. So here's the E7 right next to the Wuben X0. Okay, and there are some significant little differences, as you can see, with the design. Okay, they still look kind of similar to each other, but I'd say the X0 has just got a little bit more refined design. And of course, you've got that single LED there. We've got a double LEDs, double P9 LEDs on the E7. And the XO comes with a few different LED options. You know, this little bit here on the head as well is made of metal. Open up and use that charging port, whereas this is made of just that rubber kind of gasket on there, but they're roughly the same size, as you can see. So here's a little close-up of the E7, and as you can see, there's lots of angles on this flash, lots of these little angular cutouts. Thankfully there's no sharp edges on there, and the anodizing is pretty smooth. In fact, I'm not sure if it's what type of anodizing or whether it is even anodizing. It could just be painted. Now that I have had a little bit more time to use it, it's slightly glossy. There's some grip to it. Okay, a little bit of grip to it. And the steel clip here on the back is actually screwed in by a couple of screws there, as you can see, just attached to the body. And I prefer this clip than the one on the XO. The XO is just so rigid and it's very hard to just clip onto things. You're really feeling like you're forcing it to clip onto something. And if you compare them as well, see there's like a little nib there just to kind of get whatever you're trying to get under there, whereas this one there's a little bit more room. I just have an easier time clipping this one on to my bag or my pocket or something like that. It's also deep carry. If you want to carry it in your pocket that way, it goes all the way to those screws. Yeah, like I mentioned, the charging port is here. Okay, on the top of the light, right next to the switch. Switch is made of aluminium as well. This version of the E7 comes with two Osram P9 LEDs, and these are at the 5000. These are the 5000K version, so more neutral neutral white color. You know, some people don't like that 6500K. I don't mind it personally if I'm going for a walk and what have you. I'd prefer the extra output. So the E7 comes with an 18350 cell, and that can be easily removed by just unscrewing the tail cap here. And like I said, that extension tube is a great addition if you're taking, you know, an extended trip somewhere. Allows you to triple the battery life with an 18650 cell. One thing to keep in mind is the lights. The E7 is only designed to be used with a protected cell, a protected 18350 or a protected 18650 cell. So don't try to use it with an unprotected cell. If you look closely at the headband, you'll see there's a little spot there, just a little nib in the center there that clips onto the back of the light, just the clip there. Okay, so when you slot it in, okay, basically got to get it in at the right angle first, like that. It clips in right at the back, and you can rotate it like that very nicely, so you can angle it up or down. Okay, and when it comes time to remove it, just press that button downwards and then pull the light out. So I like the design of this. You know, one thing I really don't like are those headbands that have those two rubber rings on the side. I'm just pulling and fiddling around with it too much, especially if I've got to take the light out to detach it every now and then. You know, that becomes quite frustrating. So I quite like this design. So in terms of the UI, I'll go through a quick little demonstration. So press once to switch on, and it has memory mode, so it's remember the lowest mode there, and you click and hold to cycle medium high, so low, medium, high. Okay. You can also double press for turbo, so just double press like that to get into turbo. You can get into turbo also from, say, the light is on and then double press, you still access turbo there. Triple press for strobe like that. Okay, whether it's on or off. And in order to lock it, you just quad press, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see that it flashes a few times, and whenever you press then the light on top then flashes a bit. So I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests here with the E7 5000K on turbo, and you can see here you get about 30 seconds of 90 to 100% output before the light steps down very suddenly, and you can see by the 2-minute mark you're working with about 25% or less of the total output. So it does ramp down fairly heavily, and you know, especially with these two P9 emitters in there generating all that heat, you know, I think that's a good idea that Wuben have made that light step down faster. Otherwise, you're going to get some damage to the LEDs. But even when it does step down, it's bright enough to use for walking, for most purposes, really. Here's a second ceiling bounce test that I ran with the E7 5000K on high, and the great news is that it just holds the output for the entire duration of the test. I ran this test over 25 minutes, and it just holds that 100%. It's a little bit goes up and down very, very slightly, but pretty much between 95 to 100% of its output. And I think that's really impressive for a small light like this. You know, these Osram emitters are just so efficient that, especially two of them together, they don't probably produce less heat than just having one that's producing as much light as both of them combined, but just too much heat. Here are a bunch of ceiling bounce tests that I ran with the E7 5000K, and you can see here on the turbo mode I got 149 meters of throw. Pretty significant for just a little flashlight like this, and there's a couple of these TIR lenses in there. Okay, but you know, decent throw, nearly 150 meters. The CCT was pretty much on the dot there, you know, 5,149 on turbo, and probably the lowest there was the medium 4,994, so between 5,000 to 5,100K, so pretty accurate there. I'd say the hotspot is predominantly floody, but you get a nice diffused hotspot in the center. So The great thing about these TIR lenses, especially this one used by Wuben, is that they give you visibility well into your peripherals, and it throws a decent distance for a light of this size as well. Some considerations you need to be aware of before buying this light. Now, if you want the other functions like the gesture sensor, extension tube, you need to purchase those accessories separately. It's going to cost you more. Now, the rubber gasket's also a little bit annoying. That's something that I didn't quite like. There's just a bit too much play with it like that. I wish they'd put the same metal flap that was on the X0. It's also a bit tricky to unscrew the light sometimes. There's only a little bit of material to grip on. I find just using my thumb like that the best way to unscrew it. Okay. But at least it's easier than the X0. You've got that option to do that here, especially in a small form factor like this. It can be challenging to keep these, keep everything the right size. So another thing is the smaller details. I did notice like the quality of the anodizing or the coating. I'm not sure if it is anodizing. It feels like it's more maybe being painted, and the bare threads, you get some bare threads here on this little cap here, tail cap on the side. So, just those smaller details did bug me, but it doesn't affect the performance of the light. Overall, I think this is one of the most versatile headlamp and flashlight combinations out there that you can get for a budget price. And I really like the dual LEDs. That's extra brightness. As you guys know, that's something that I'm really fond of. Just a lot of lumens and throw in a smaller sort of host like this. And this hot swappable battery design as well makes it much more practical to use than the Wuben X0 that we just stuck. If you run out of battery, you're not going to be able to even unscrew that. So the sustained output and high was also something I really liked. You can use it as an EDC, very versatile. Just clip in your pocket around the house, bike light, or even a headlamp. So yeah, if you're interested, I've put a special link below in the description that you can get the E7 for at a discounted price. If you have questions as well, just let me know and I will do my best to get back to you, answer your questions. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, click the like button because it helps me to get it out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews, keep up to date with the newest lights out there, then make sure you subscribe. Okay, we've got the Wuben E7 and we'll start it off on turbo. Wow. The spill is just something that I've never seen before on other kind of flashlights. You've got this 180-degree spill, but at the same time this hot spot in the center. Let's swap it over to the different modes: low, medium, high. Okay, this is the high mode and it is pretty decent for use all the way up into maybe the grass area there. Okay, but amazingly the spill is what I love about it. You just see all the way into your peripherals at 160 degrees into your peripherals, which is going to be really handy. Just such a practical light. Okay, turbo. And I'll walk up ahead so you can see the beam pattern a little bit better, so you can just see that how effective that spill is when you're walking around. Alright, we've got the Wuben E7 and I've got this short distance area we're testing out and double press for turbo. Wow, I mean this is pretty incredible. Lights up the entire area, all into the peripherals as well as the center of the scene with more pronounced hotspot in the center. We'll cycle through the different modes. Okay, low, medium, and medium is, I mean this would be a great walking light, especially with the extension tube 18650. There we have it, high mode, and the sustainable high mode as well, very impressive. Turbo, I'll go for a little walk so you can see the beam pattern. Wuben E7, okay, and I'll just switch it on from low, medium. Okay, medium's decent for sort of closer range, sort of walking around. But if you put it onto high, pretty much a little bit better. Okay. And then we've got turbo, double press, super bright, able to see all the way down to the end, even up into the trees and further up like that. Pretty incredible. Just gives you a almost like peripheral vision and boost as well, because the light goes all the way, almost like 180 degrees. Okay, but the center is more concentrated. You can't barely see anything in there until you turn on the light. Wuben E7. Nearly walked into a cobweb. What the heck is going on there? Jeez. Bits of bamboo are enormous. Look at that one. Lots of visibility with this light. It is stepping down. There we go. Oh, look at that spider. Just in the center here. I would have walked right into it. Check that out. Jesus. It's huge. Look at that web. It's right in the center there. Let's see what's happening over here. It's all this noise. Wuben E7. This is on turbo. Look at that. Incredible amount of brightness. Absolutely incredible. You can cycle through the little modes as well. So low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. Low, medium is pretty good. Medium is really just great for a general walking light, and it's not the brightest, but you can still see a good few meters ahead of you, lots of spill, and most importantly you're using a very small percentage of the battery here. High mode, so this bumps it up to a level that is very, like a lot better than the last mode, much more of an improvement. You can see well into that little edge, that little waterfall down the rocks down the side, all the way to the back. You know, the details in the back aren't so clear, but you can still see sort of down the back. But I mean, look at that turbo mode. Wuben E7, quick little throw test. Low, medium, high, turbo. Can't quite see right down the back,
you can see all the little supporting poles holding up that bridge